Welcome to Sci-Fi Show. Don't forget to subscribe and join our growing sci-fi community. I'm Kai Rivera, and I never thought I'd become a legend at the Andromeda Prime Academy for accidentally weaponizing caffeine. Let me set the scene. The Academy sits on a neutral moon, orbiting 3 suns, where the brightest minds from 73 species come to study everything, from quantum mechanics to interstellar diplomacy. Humans, we're the new kids. Earth joined the Galactic Coalition 5 years ago, and they're still not sure what to make of us. Most species see us as these fragile, pink mammals who somehow stumbled into space travel despite having absolutely no natural advantages. No exoskeletons, no telepathy, no ability to breathe methane or survive vacuum exposure. Just soft skin, breakable bones, and an inexplicable obsession with caffeine. Which brings me to Zixter Valkresh, a 7-foot mantis made of living crystal, with 4 arms and eyes that refract light into 1,000 judgmental colors. His species evolved on a planet where the rain is slightly acidic and the atmosphere contains trace amounts of chlorine gas. So naturally, he never let anyone forget how tough Krolix are compared to soft, pathetic humans. The cafeteria at Andromeda Prime is an architectural miracle, with atmospheric zones separated by energy fields, so everyone can breathe their preferred air while eating together. I'm sitting in the oxygen zone with the other human students, nursing my morning coffee, when Zixter glides over with his posse of Krolix friends, and a couple of Thorian warriors who think they're hot stuff. Enjoying your poison, human? His voice sounds like wind chimes made of knives, his translator implant making everything sound vaguely condescending. I observed you consume 3 cups already. Such dependency on chemical stimulation. How primitive. His crystalline face somehow manages to smirk. On Krolix Prime, we drink dissolved metals for recreation. But you wouldn't survive even our children's beverages. This isn't new. For 3 months, I've endured variations of this speech about how humans are weak, fragile, and need special accommodations just to exist. Last week, he made a presentation in xenobiology class about how human stomach acid is adorably mild compared to Krolix digestive enzymes that can break down tungsten. My friend Marcus whispers to ignore him, but I'm done being the punchline. So I smile, the kind that made my high school principal nervous. You're right, Zixter. Human drinks are super weak, totally harmless. Not like we'd ever consume anything dangerous. That would be crazy. His crystalline chest puffs up with satisfaction as his entourage makes clicking sounds that pass for Krolix laughter. Finally, you acknowledge your species' limitations. Perhaps there is hope for human wisdom after all. I stand up, ignoring Marcus kicking my shin under the table. I'm so impressed by Krolix's superiority that I want to bring you a traditional Earth beverage tomorrow. A gesture of respect. Would you accept? Zixter's eyes cycle through colors, analyzing whether this is a trap, but his pride won't let him refuse. I would be honored to sample Earth's finest attempt at beverages, though I doubt it will compare to even our weakest drinks. That night, I make 3 calls back to Earth. First, to my uncle, who works at a military research facility. Second, to my cousin, who has connections to underground caffeinated beverage collectors. And third, to my mum to apologize in advance. By morning, I have what I need. A package marked with more warning labels than a nuclear reactor, containing a single black can with no official branding. Just a serial number and the words prototype, not for human consumption, in 6 languages. Let me explain something about human beverages. Most species develop drinks for nutrition or mild stimulation. But humans turned beverage creation into an arms race. When coffee wasn't enough, we made energy drinks. When those weren't enough, we made stronger ones. This particular can is a result of a military contract to develop emergency stimulants for soldiers in extended zero-gravity operations, where sleep isn't an option for 72 hours. The formula includes synthetic caffeine concentrated to levels illegal in 37 countries, taurine derivatives that don't exist in nature, guarana extract processed through a classified method, B vitamins exceeding 5,000% of daily recommended values, and proprietary nootropics the FDA is still investigating. The pH level is 1.5, roughly the same as battery acid. The can itself is lined with special polymer because the drink corroded earlier prototypes. The warning label reads, cardiac events possible. Seizure risk elevated. Do not consume if you have a heart, liver, kidneys, or any organs. Not approved by FDA, WHO, or common sense. It's beautiful. I arrive at the cafeteria during peak hours, and news of the tasting challenge has spread. Students from a dozen species have gathered to watch. Zixter is already positioned like he's about to receive an award, his crystalline body refracting artificial sunlight, making him look even more smug than usual. Human Kai, you bring me your species' beverage. I am prepared to judge it fairly, despite knowing it will be disappointingly mild. I place the black can on the table, and several nearby students instinctively step back. A Volusian with sensory tentacles actually gasps and retreats behind a pillar. This is called eternal vigilance. It's an earth energy drink. I pop the tab with an ominous hiss. Faint vapor rises, not steam. Something else, and the smell hits the atmosphere processors, which immediately start working harder. It smells like citrus, lightning, and poor life choices. It looks disappointingly ordinary. Is this the best your species offers? Zixter examines the can and reaches for a standard titanium drinking cup, the kind that can survive re-entry heating. I pour 3 ounces. The liquid is the color of antifreeze and glows faintly under the cafeteria lights. Are you sure? Marcus starts, but Zixter interrupts. I am Krolix. We consume liquid metal. This is nothing. He lifts the cup in a ceremonial gesture, then drinks. For 5 seconds, nothing happens. He lowers the cup, eyes cycling to smug violet. As I suspected. Weak, barely any. He stops. His eyes flash red. The cup in his hand begins smoking. The titanium cup melts not slowly. It just loses structural integrity and collapses into slag. The remaining energy drink eating through the table's surface. Alarms start blaring. The atmospheric processes go into overdrive. And Zixter starts glowing. I mean actually glowing. His crystalline body emanating light from the inside, cycling through colors that don't exist in normal space. He opens his mouth and a sound comes out that makes the translator implants short circuit. Then Zixter rises, not stands. Rises, his feet leave the ground. He's levitating, his body blazing like a dying star. His forearms moving independently, each vibrating at a different frequency. The air around him distorts. Everything is clear, he announces in perfect galactic standard, without his translator. I understand mathematics. All mathematics. The universe is numbers, and the numbers are screaming. Security arrives, 3 Thorian guards in full armor, demanding to know what's happening. I can taste colors, Zixter interrupts. Now rotating slowly in the air. Time is a flat circle, and I am perceiving 17 dimensions. Energy crackles between his crystalline fingers. One guard scans him with a medical tricorder that immediately catches fire. His metabolism has increased by 4,000%. His neural activity is beyond our instrument's ability to measure. More alarms sound as the cafeteria evacuates. Students recording on personal devices. This is going viral across the galactic network. Zixter continues ascending, pressed against the energy field ceiling, still rotating and speaking in mathematical proofs. I may have made a mistake. The mistake is composed of infinite smaller mistakes, fractal in nature. Then he passes out. The sudden unconsciousness doesn't stop his body's reaction. He falls, still glowing, and security catches him with a gravity net that starts degrading from the heat. They rush him out on a hover stretcher toward the medical bay, leaving behind a crowd of stunned students and a table with a titanium-shaped hole melted through it. I stand there holding the most lethal can, wondering if I'm about to be expelled or arrested. Probably both. The medical bay locks down. Zixter placed in a quantum containment field, usually reserved for storing antimatter or extremely violent criminals. Through the transparent energy barrier, we see him still glowing, his body occasionally phasing slightly out of normal spacetime. The medical staff, 6-armed, Cyprian insectoids considered the best doctors in known space, are terrified. What did you give him? The head physician demands, and when I hand her the can, all 6 of her eyes widen. This is poison. This is classified as a weapon on 40 planets. I weakly respond that on Earth, teenagers drink stuff like this before exams. She stares at me for 10 full seconds. Your species is insane. I can't really argue with that. Zixter remains in containment for 3 days. His metabolism slowly returning to normal, though he goes through phases where he speaks in pure mathematics, recites pi to 10,000 digits, and once achieves brief telekinesis, before the effects finally fade. The medical staff documents everything. His reaction becomes a case study published in the Galactic Journal of Xenobiology, titled Acute Toxicity Response in Krolix Physiology to Terran Stimulant Compounds, a cautionary study. When he finally recovers enough for visitors, he lies in a medical pod, his crystalline body dimmed and dull. Human Kai, he says quietly. I perceived the mathematical structure underlying reality. I understood quantum mechanics at a fundamental level. I could see gravitational waves from the Academy's movement through space. It was the most terrifying experience of my existence. I start to explain the drink wasn't meant for anyone, but he interrupts. Your species consumes this. Voluntarily. When I explained that college students, truckers, and gamers drink similar stuff all the time, his eyes flash alarm read. I apologize for my comments about human weakness. A species that regularly consumes beverages capable of inducing temporary omniscience cannot be called weak. He raises his voice. I could see through. Time. Linear time became a physical dimension I could observe. That is not normal. The news spreads fast, not just through the Academy, but through the entire galactic coalition. Within a week, Earth beverages are the subject of 3 emergency sessions in the Galactic Senate, and 27 species file formal protests against human energy drinks being classified as mere beverages instead of chemical weapons. A Volusian ambassador gives a passionate speech about humanity's casual relationship with toxic stimulants, representing a clear and present danger to galactic safety standards. Earth's representative, Ambassador Williams, gives a response that becomes legendary. If you think our energy drinks are scary, wait until you learn about our hot sauce. That comment triggers another wave of panic. At the Academy, everything changes. Human students are no longer mocked, but regarded with a mixture of respect and fear. Other species give us wide berth in the cafeteria. When I order coffee, students at nearby tables casually relocate. In xenobiology class, Professor Kilther nervously asks if humans could perhaps consider drinking water occasionally, for the safety of others. Zixter and I develop a strange friendship. He still has occasional flashbacks, where he perceives extra dimensions and needs to lie down. But he's humbler now, and genuinely curious about Earth. Your species evolved on a planet trying to kill you, he observes one day. Predators, diseases, weather extremes, toxic plants, so you developed culture around consuming poisons for recreation. I sip my coffee. Pretty much. We ate spicy food that made us cry, drank alcohol that destroyed our livers, smoked plants that damaged our lungs, consumed caffeine that disrupted our hearts, and we did it for fun. He says with what I've learned is Krolek's admiration. Your species is absolutely deranged. The cafeteria institutes new rules. All human beverages must be registered with administration. Anything above certain caffeine concentrations requires special permits. And energy drinks are banned entirely, except for humans, who are permitted to continue their traditional consumption practices under controlled conditions and with appropriate warning labels. I'm sitting in our usual spot. The black can of eternal vigilance now on display in the Academy's Museum of Xenobiological Hazards. When a group of younger, first-year students approaches nervously a small Volusian, a Thorian, and 2 species I don't recognize. Excuse me, you're Kai Rivera, the human who hospitalized Zixer Valkyresh with a beverage. When I confirm, the Volusian says, we just wanted to say humans are really cool. We didn't know you were so dangerous. I laugh and start to say, we're not dangerous. But the Thorian interrupts with genuine awe. You drink acid for breakfast. Your species figured out how to weaponize refreshments. That's the most badass thing ever. They leave whispering excitedly, and Marcus sits down shaking his head. You realize you've made humanity terrifying through pure accident. I was just tired of the disrespect, but mission accomplished. There is now a betting pool about which human food will cause the next incident, with current odds favoring hot wings. I grin and take a sip of regular coffee, noticing students around the cafeteria watching nervously like I'm drinking nitroglycerin. Maybe we are crazy. Maybe consuming substances that would hospitalize most species makes humans objectively deranged. But I'll take that over being called weak. Zixer joins us, moving carefully, his body still slightly dimmed. Kai, I have been meaning to ask. That beverage eternal vigilance. Do you have more? Absolutely not, I tell him. My thesis advisor is being unreasonable about my deadline extension. I thought perhaps if I could perceive 17 dimensions again, I could complete my quantum mechanics research in 1 session. Marcus and I exchange looks. Zixter, buddy, you're not supposed to use temporary omniscience as a study aid. He argues it would be so efficient. Earth hasn't been in the Galactic Coalition for a decade, and we're already teaching aliens bad habits. I'm oddly proud. That afternoon, I receive a message from my uncle. Kai, what the hell did you do? The formula for eternal vigilance is now classified above top secret, because 3 alien governments tried to acquire it. Also, you're either getting expelled, or getting a medal. Possibly both. Love you, kid. I lean back, looking out at the triple sunset through the Academy's massive windows. Somewhere out there, 73 species are reevaluating everything they thought they knew about humanity because one idiot college student couldn't let an insult slide. Worth it. I raise my coffee mug in a silent toast to human stubbornness, to the beautiful insanity of my species, and to the fact that we turned drinking poison into a cultural cornerstone. Zixter is right. We are absolutely deranged, and the galaxy better get used to it.